Hello, my name is Chris Petty, and this is my screencast schematic reflective statement for week 8. I'm only able to right now use the screen recording method. For some reason, it won't connect to my built-in camera for my laptop, and I don't have anything on the outside to use for it. But to begin, I've actually learned a lot in this class so far throughout the entirety of the 8 weeks. Um, a lot of different things. Like when I started the class, diversity, conflict, and crime, I didn't entirely understand what it was going to be about. Excuse me. And then like going into it with week one, week one, and learning the different things like past the introduction, but about like what diversity and conflict and crime is actually about, and then going into week two, going with verbal techniques and the different languages and cultures. But I'm gonna look at the main area that I was like highly intrigued with. It was a cross cultural communication for law enforcement. And what got me of it was the chapter regarding, I believe it's chapter 4 regarding culture and its relevance to law enforcement. When I was like going in through the class and then thinking about while we were taking it during this week, I did not know that a police officer had to review himself or herself uh, so much like different cultural backgrounds and know all of these backgrounds in the community that they were serving. Like it was pretty intense. When it comes to the area after the case study here, and it speaks of law enforcement representatives have discretion whether or not to arrest or admonish someone suspected of a crime. And when with reading this statement from the book and then another passage, it gave an example of, I believe it was one of the experiments or examples about a Taiwanese man taking his sword with him into Central Park or another park there in New York or something like that in order to do Tai Chi, and using the sword was a part of that. And then the police officer, what would he do? Arrest him, not arrest him, but if he would have known the cultural background of his community and of why he was taking the sword to the park, then it would change the conflict completely. Instead of going from arresting that person with a weapon, now he's letting him know, hey, the law is this for open carry weapons. You need to follow the law. I understand, but give the warning. So now that civilian actually knows what law they need to follow through with. And I just found that completely astonishing because usually when I've seen certain areas like that, it's the police officer is going away from the culture and he's just going straight. He or she is just going straight to the law and not providing any kind of background for that. The part that I found interesting within the class that we've been learning this semester is the hiring process that is talked about, the applicant screening that's talked about here in the textbook, basic qualifications such as education, requisite licenses, and citizenship, physical fitness, all this stuff. This is what I find probably the most interesting out of everything. And why I find it most interesting is because it comes to, I actually I was thinking about applying for the police force. But with current physical disabilities I have for myself right now, mainly being my foot, and it's pretty much disability not that restricts me from running and jumping, which led for me to being medically discharged from the military. I like to look at this a lot more and then put this towards what I want to do in the future, which is why I'm taking this class and this degree in order to move to forensics. And I believe everything I learned in this class would help me there, learn new backgrounds and everything like that. Because along with, besides being a police officer, I think being a crime scene investigator, a forensic technician in that field, I will be dealing with all the same things as I am now, working for the military as a government contractor on the base. I work with um, constant. I work with everybody from different backgrounds, and along with that, we also have these different things that we have to follow, especially with hiring and taking care of different areas. Being having to look for qualified people and who they are, but instead of going around from what it is like right now for the police department, uh, certain qualifications. Do we need to hire more women, more minorities, more this, more that? We hire based off character, drug use, physical fitness, psychological fitness, everything on here except for the racial, ethnic, gender, sexual orientation, or cultural basis, which I find completely, I want to say amazing or surprising, but something that is already what I deal with being a government contractor. And with that, like this class has taught me a lot to where I've already I've already been doing some of the methods, some of the techniques of multicultural background, and keeping it to where we don't have conflicts. But with it, uh, knowing knowing where I stand and how I should approach certain situations. Because I think it was about 2 weeks ago, we had an issue. We had an issue with one of the coworkers. He's bilingual, but with his accent, we couldn't. There's a fellow employee who couldn't understand what he was saying, so they had a little tidbit, little conversation. Well, the one did about how he should be able to speak English more properly and everything else. And then me overhearing this, I of course got my boss. But why I want to get my boss to bring it over because it looked like he was going to start a conflict. This class is like showing me to all right, understand the culture, understand his background, and yes, he's he's bilingual and is an English speaking area, but we have to treat him with respect because he's doing his hardest in order to work proficient, and then that person didn't need someone to attack him because he couldn't pronunciate his English correctly. And I don't know. I think this class helped me out with that kind of a situation, and I know it'll help me out in the further. Thank you very much for let me take not let me take the class, but opening expanding my mind a lot more, not just through the textbook, but through the other readings and videos, and having myself and the other students interact to where we're all different people from different cultural backgrounds, and then it helps us grow as a person. All right, thank you very much.